Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Erik Johansson, teacher with LSAT Demon. With me is Nathan Fox, the co-founder of LSATdemon.com and the weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. Got an email from Julia.
Hi guys, I know that you've previously explained that it is not a good idea to make excuses for poor GPAs. However, I'm wondering if my circumstances warrant an exception. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was little and have taken medication and met with a neurologist since. However, due to some issues with insurance, I was unable to get my medication for 2 semesters of undergrad, which made my GPA drop significantly. I don't want to come off like I'm avoiding taking responsibility for my shortcomings, but would like to take the opportunity to explain my situation. Bad idea? Thanks, Julia.
You say the GPA dropped significantly. I might need to know how significant. Like, is it really glaring that there was these 2 semesters where your GPA was way, way lower? Like, it was super high, then it way, way low, and then it was really high again. If that's the case, then I think you could make a case for some sort of quick addendum explaining this situation with all right, Nathan is shaking his head already, which I anticipated, but I'm going to play devil's advocate and make my point here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So our tendency is to say, just don't disclose medical issues. You certainly don't want to turn like a personal statement into something about medical issues or trauma. Absolutely not. And in general, hey, don't disclose medical issues. The thing with the ADHD explanation for this lower semester or these lower year of grades, under the assumption that, hey, admissions officers are savvy people. They know that ADHD is a treatable condition. They recognize that when you come to their school, like, you're going to be treated for ADHD. This will not be a problem in the future. So this is a very clear and good explanation for a couple low semesters of grades. And it's not a problem going forward.
And I grant you all of that if GPA was the only thing we were concerned with, then it would make a lot of sense to make that case for yourself. But GPA is not the only thing that we're concerned with. LSAT is actually more important. And the second you tell them that you were diagnosed with ADHD and you've been medicated for your whole life, and then there were 2 semesters where you didn't have the medication, they're going to be thinking that you got extra time on the LSAT. Because you are eligible for extra time on the LSAT. If you have ADHD, you are eligible for extra time on the LSAT. I've never seen somebody who's medicated for ADHD who did not get however much extra time they asked for. That's broken. Law schools have to know that it's broken. They're not allowed to know that you were accommodated. LSAT does not put an asterisk on your record. There's no way that they're going to know that you were accommodated until you tell them that you were accommodated.
They're also not allowed to discriminate on the basis of accommodations.
And they won't. They'll just say, yeah, really worried about this GPA. Something about it just doesn't really feel right. I mean, and I'm not even saying that they're going to consciously discriminate against you. I think some people are going to consciously discriminate against you and know that they can't be caught, documented, violating the law. Other people are going to, with the best of intentions, subconsciously discriminate against you. They know that more and more people are getting accommodated. They're worried that the predictive value of the LSAT might be in decline as more and more people get accommodated. You say ADHD. I think that there are a significant number of people out there. I don't have any way of proving this. I don't think anyone would ever admit to it. But it just stands to reason that they are going to put that asterisk on your LSAT in their head. How much that actually hurts you, I don't know. Some people might be so morally pure that they're going to be able to hear information like that and let that thought pass through their mind and go, yeah, but we're not allowed to, we have to pretend we don't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe there are those people out there, but there have to be people out there in the middle and at the opposite extreme who are going to be like, again, either slightly subconsciously discriminating or just outright laughing. I can imagine one person on the committee laughing to another person on the committee. They're not putting it in an email. This is not on it's not like officially on the record or anything, but I can imagine them going like, yep, we caught another one. They disclosed this issue, and now we can safely assume that they had extra time on their LSAT.
We suspect that maybe this is a reason why law schools ask for LSAT addendums.
Right. They ask if you improved your LSAT by a significant amount. We want to know why. Why the hell would they ask that question? What useful information can they possibly get from that? Someone says, well, I took a prep course. Okay, well, good on you. I studied harder. Okay. What useful information? I knew I could my practice test indicated I could score higher, so I took it again.
Mm-hmm.
What useful information are they getting from that? But a non-zero number of people write, oh, well, I wasn't accommodated on my first few attempts, and I was accommodated on this one. And they think that that's like a perfectly justified, which, legally it is, but there's a big difference between what's legally fine and what in reality, or what, like, the way that people are going to interpret that against you,
mm-hmm.
you will be discriminated against. I think we have to assume that that is the case at some schools. And in this case, look, this addendum that Julia wants to write does not change her UGPA. Her UGPA is her UGPA. It's going to be combined with her LSAT score and turned into an index number, one number, for all applicants at each school. They all use different index formulae, but they all use the index calculation because it's easier that way for them to be able to rank you from top to bottom, from highest index to lowest index.
It's just the first filter you got to make it through.
Right. And this addendum does not change her UGPA, therefore does not change her index, doesn't change anything. It just discloses to them that you have ADHD, which is like, okay, so that's a medical issue that it's a little bit like just kind of oversharing medical information. And it gives them reason, if you're on the bubble, it gives them reason to be suspicious that you got extra time on the LSAT.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a feather in your cap. It's not it's not legally allowed to be a mark against you. But in some people's mind, it is going to be a mark against you. And you need to be conscious of that fact. I think they're also going to know that you're going to be asking for accommodations, or they're not going to know it, but they're going to think they know it, right? Because Julia didn't even have to get accommodations, right? Julia very likely did not get accommodations, even though she could have gotten them if she wanted them.
Right.
But if she didn't get accommodations, they're still going to think that you did. And they're going to then infer from that, they're going to think, oh, and she's also going to be asking for accommodations at our school.
Mm-hmm. Could we write an addendum that doesn't specifically mention ADHD, but just references some medical condition that was untreated for a year due to insurance issues, but now that medical issue
or
is
just
treated?
Call it a medical issue.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Like, right. But don't say, I don't even think you have to bring the insurance thing into it. I don't think you have to bring the untreated into it. I think you just say, I had a medical issue. I'd rather not burden you with the details of it, but I had a medical issue in these 2 semesters. And then I would, instead of focusing on those 2 semesters, I would turn the focus. If you recalculate my GPA without those 2 semesters, it's a whatever. And then give them the chance to anchor on, oh, hey, we found a diamond in the rough. If we take these 2 semesters out, Julia had a 4.0 or whatever. Okay, fine. But again, remember, doesn't change your index, doesn't change your UGPA. Really only matters on the margins. And it's just not worth the risk of disclosing something that might make them discriminate against you for other reasons. So by all means, Julia, write a short addendum, but I would just keep a lot of the details out of it. Cool. Thanks, Julia. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.